Oh my gosh. TikTok. Hello. Sorry. I don't know what's going on with TikTok. Um, there's an issue right now. Like, I don't know what happened. Like my thing is not coming up. I can't see anything. This is weird. Anyway, I hope y'all having a really great week so far. Today is Tuesday. So we are definitely going in on Tuesday. I'm gonna try and see what it do. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we'll see if this works. As you're coming on, I really appreciate you for tuning in. Look, I gotta say this because there's a lot of stuff that's going on today. There are a lot of people that are live on Tuesday evenings, and you could be doing anything. Okay, like seriously, you could be doing anything. So I definitely appreciate you for just jumping on here with me. I won't be long though because I got to get to my family. I know I was supposed to go live last week, y'all, but it's been a lot going on, so forgive me. But I'm here. Okay, I'm here. Okay, what's going on? It's Meta 88. I see you. Welcome, Mr. Walter. Okay, so listen, this is what I want to talk about today. Over 90% of the traders out here are losing money, and they're not telling you that they're losing money because they want to look like they winning. Okay, I talked about this on Monday. Yesterday, my bad. I talked about this on yesterday. How people are showing their life on social media like it's just the greatest thing ever, right? And everything is going well. But behind the scenes, you got a whole lot of turmoil. And I got it. You know what I'm saying? The people don't want to seem like they don't have it all together. But I'm here to tell you, y'all, when you consider investing and definitely trading, you're not gonna always get it right. You're going to lose money. The mentality is how can I minimize that loss? So this is why I started with what I started with. 90% of traders lose money. But what we want to do tonight is talk about how you can avoid being one of them. Now, I'm not saying that you won't lose money at all because, child, I lost money. Okay. But the goal is to help you to minimize the loss and to get to the point, welcome Solo Crypto, get to the point where you're able to make money more consistently and you move from losing more money than you're winning or gaining to now, welcome Grant, to now you're gaining more money than you're losing. That is the ultimate goal. But how can we get there? The only way for us to get there is to identify where we are, have systems in place, and all of that stuff. That's what I'm going to talk about tonight, as well as showing y'all charts. So as you're coming on, okay, I'm going to ask that on YouTube, y'all give the thumbs up. Okay, I know it's a different scenery background, y'all. I have to charge my phone, so and the surge protector is not long enough to go, and then the cord isn't long enough. So yeah, it's just a whole thing right now. But anyway, I'm still in the office. So here's what I'm going to ask y'all to do. Thumbs up on YouTube, okay? TikTok, y'all got to get the tapping. Tap, tap, tap it up. If y'all want me to share my screen with y'all and have these conversations, I need y'all to tap the screen, okay? If you like what you're hearing, okay? Welcome, Shane. If you like what you're hearing, I'm going to ask that you share this live stream, or if you're watching a replay on YouTube, you can watch share the replay, okay? On TikTok, I understand, and not everybody's going to share because you're like, I don't know you like that, Leon. I just peeped in from the FYP. I got it. You can always repost. I repost all the time when I'm listening to someone watching their live stream that they are, they're saying something that makes sense to me, okay? That I like, but I might not be able to watch the entire thing, so I repost, okay? And for my people who are on TikTok, if you can't watch the entire live stream, y'all, by all means, you can watch the replay on YouTube, okay? That's Prosperity Calls on YouTube as well. So I'm going to ask that y'all tap, tap, tap it up. Welcome, Triple P. I see you. Welcome, Daniel. I see you. Welcome, user 9944. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. So y'all can tune in to the replay on YouTube. And that's Prosperity Calls, okay? So if you can't watch the whole time, by all means, jump on over here. All right. I'm going to ask, though, that y'all tap it up. What's going on, Big Rusty? Tap, tap, tap the screen. If y'all don't, I have no problem with shutting down the live, and then I just focus on YouTube. That's too easy for me to do. Welcome, Paige. I see you. Happy Tuesday. I would shut it down in a heartbeat. I don't care about talking about staying live on one platform when you're not engaging. Okay. And YouTube, I love y'all, but if y'all don't engage, I would shut y'all down too, and I go home to my family. Chris, what's going on? Because I was just having a conversation with my best friend earlier, and we both were on the same page. Like, look, we want people to win. We want to have certain conversations so that way people can, move in the direction they want to go financially. But what I ain't finna do is sit here and talk to myself. Jewel of Yah, welcome. Happy Tuesday. I'm not about to talk to myself. Okay. So we're going to talk about why 90% of traders are losing their money. Okay. And I want to help you to not become one of those so that way we can talk about the difference between trading and investing. And then we're going to hit the charts. TikTok, y'all got one more time. I'm going to say it one more time. Tap the screen. If not, I'm going to shut it down. Tap the screen. That means you're liking the live. That tells the algorithm that this is a live stream that people want to stay on and want to send out to other people. And then I will be able to stay on here. Y'all don't tap, I don't stay, and then I'm out. All right, y'all have a good one. That's how we're going to do that. All right, so YouTube is on y'all. Let's go. So tonight, we're going to talk about, I'm going to try it again. I just, sometimes I have to do that, So tonight, what we're going to talk about is trading and then, of course, investing. I want to help you to get to the point where you're able to consistently make money. You're going to bump your head. You're going to lose some money, but the goal is to get to the point where you are minimizing that loss, okay? So the last live I did was on last Tuesday. So yeah, I know, y'all, it's been a week, okay? I'm sorry. But something really interesting happened on that live on Tuesday. I don't know if you realized it, but a lot of people were saying on TikTok, they were saying, oh yeah, I'm a buy and hold person all day, every day, right? I'm a holder. I'm a holler. I'm long term. I'm patient, right? Like I'm hearing all of the comments coming through the chat. It's telling me, oh yeah, I'm a holler. I'm patient. I'm not impatient. I wait for my money, yada, yada, yada. Y'all, I pulled up that Bitcoin chart on last Tuesday. I saw something shift. Okay. I mean, some of them, I don't know if it was some of y'all on YouTube over here, but some of them was like, yeah, you know what? I think I'd rather trade. Like they turned into some traders so freaking fast. It was ridiculous. So at that point, though, I will say, because I did catch a couple people, I caught a couple of them using some language that resembled or was similar to on the cusp of gambling. Now, I'm not saying this to judge, okay? I just want to say that, that is kind of human nature, right? Because you're feeling like, I'm gonna try it again, y'all, on YouTube, on TikTok. But yeah, I feel like that's human nature, right? That's just something that's gonna naturally happen. So tonight is not gonna be just about the charts. Tonight is going to be about establishing, how you feel when you see a chart. Like, how does your mind work when you see a chart come up and you're seeing the market going up, you're seeing the market going down? All right, welcome, Jade. Welcome, James. I see you. Happy Tuesday. Y'all go ahead, tap the screen. Welcome, Grant. Welcome back. Y'all go ahead and tap the screen. Tap the screen, tap the screen. I'm going to try it one more time. I'm trying it one more time for y'all. If I don't get the taps, if I don't get the likes on TikTok, I will shut it down and I will not come back tonight. Okay? My goal is to help people so that way they can make money and save money at the same time. And if that's not what you want for yourself, then by all means, really welcome. Then cool. I'll just go ahead and mind my business with YouTube. Okay, because I am recording this on YouTube. So don't feel like if you don't hear me right now, you won't be able to hear the whole thing or have the conversation. We'll be able to have the conversation. It'll just be recorded on YouTube. So you have to tune into the replay. Okay. So yeah. So let's go. Go ahead, Sana. I see you. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. All right. Terrific Tuesday at that. So yeah. So this is what we're going to talk about. Okay. So I want to get something like clear right off the bat. Most traders don't fail because they don't know what they're doing. It is very easy to put in a trade and to win. That's easy. Okay, it's the consistency. So the reason why this 90+% of traders fail is because they're moving and operating in their emotions when they're trading. Now, I want you to think about this. Like when price moves really quick, okay, our brains release something called dopamine. Now, this is me studying myself. Tabio, welcome. Happy Tuesday. Terrific Tuesday. Welcome, Kenny. Y'all go ahead, tap the screen, tap it up. I jump back on. If I don't get the likes on TikTok, I will shut it down and will not be back. Okay? That's too easy for me. All right. So yeah. So our brain releases this dopamine. So it's gonna feel like it's like, that opportunity, urgency, excitement. This is what some people probably were feeling on last week when I was showing the charts, right? And I was asking, what do you see right now? Would you buy? Would you sell? What are you gonna do? Right. And they went from I'm gonna hold, I'll be patient, I'm a holler, I'm an investor to they moving and thinking like, I'm gonna take my chance and I'm gonna gamble this thing. Right. And I want to buy right now. What? What are you doing? What are you talking about? What I just showed you just now, that does not equal buy from what I just showed you as a trader. It's different when you invest, right? So, Proud Mama, two girls, welcome. Happy Tuesday. Right? So, so that same chemical response is when we talk about that dopamine, that same chemical response is like gambling, it's like sports betting, lottery tickets. So for my people out here that play the lotto, this is what happens when you see the chart, right? So I want you to be honest with yourself. If you want to, type it in the chat, you can, or in the comments if you're watching a replay. Focus Foot, welcome. Happy Tuesday. But when you look at a chart, right, and you see that big old green candle like I showed last week, do you feel excitement? You can type yes or no in the chat. Like, do you feel like, oh yeah, that's it right now? Like I'm ready. Do you feel like that? Okay. I'm going to tell you something. That is normal. That feeling is biological. But here's the thing. Successful traders learn how to override it. So you get to the point as a person that is consistently profitable as a trader, you get to the point where you're not overly excited when there are high probability setups in the market. You're not overly excited when you hit your financial goal for the day as a trader. You're not overly upset, frustrated, sad when you lose money. There's a balance that you start to learn. But I'm going to tell y'all something. This comes from practice. This comes from practice. Lala, welcome. Patriot Dad, welcome. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Okay? So there is another thing that happens when we are looking at the market and we say we want to invest, but we have that feeling like we want to trade, right? So FOMO happens, y'all. So when price starts to move without you, it kind of can feel personal, right? Am I right or wrong? Does it start to feel a little personal? Yeah, y'all tripping on TikTok. Y'all tripping. I'm good because I'm not about to keep doing this. Right? It started to feel personal, right? And so at that time, your brain is telling you like, everybody else is making money. So I need to get in here too. I'm behind. I'll shoot. I'm messed up. I need to move right now. I need to act right now. But here's the truth. This is what I really want you to know. Markets create infinite opportunities. Okay? So when we have that scarcity thinking, what it does is it creates these impulsive decisions. And so we're stuck with living with the consequences of those impulsive decisions. Now, I told you I'm going to get to the chart, but I really want to help you to kind of identify. That's right. Sis said it, but I want you to get to the point where you can identify where you are and then how to get out of that if it's not helping you to reach your financial goals as a trader and or as an investor, right? So here's another thing that I want you to think about. there's something called that I learned about. There's this bias that happens when something kind of like patterns, right? So I trade candlestick patterns, but there are people that are say like, oh, where the market, it just repeats itself, right? And I used to say that, I did, but the longer I've traded, let me say that, the longer I've traded, the more I realize it's not necessarily repeating, it's just similar. So like my mentor in the stock market says, Wall Street Trapper, he says the market doesn't repeat, it just rhymes. Like it looks similar, it looks the same, but there's a subtle difference that you'll eventually find, right? So what we'll experience or we'll assume with this bias, right? We'll assume that whatever just happened will keep happening, or it's gonna happen again exactly like it happened before. So let's say Bitcoin went up like 5 days in a row, price just been going and going and going, right? Then we're gonna immediately, our brains is gonna immediately trigger for us to assume that it's gonna go up on day 6 as well, right? That's not necessarily strategy. That's just pattern chasing. So what I want you to do is start to think about, okay, can the market do something very similar to what it did before? Yes, but it's not going to be exact. So now I need to figure out, how am I going to move when I see those multiple buying days, that buy momentum happening? What is my plan? What does my strategy tell me to do? Right? So I want you to just think about this. Okay, I got a question for you. How many of you, if you're watching the replay or live, if you want to answer, fine. If you don't, that's fine too, okay? But how many of you have ever bought into the market after it's just been like the market's just been running, like multiple green days? I'm talking about it's just been going, right? I want you to type the word green in the chat. If it's been multiple green days and you were like, yeah, I'm getting in this thing. I look, it's been running for 3 days. I'm jumping in here. Type the word green in the chat. If you're watching live, if you're watching replay, then you can type green in the comments, okay? Now, I don't want you to feel like anything's wrong with that. Because right now, what I'm doing is helping you to identify some of the things that are very common when it comes to people trading, but also for the people who are not as successful trading, okay? Because the goal is for us to get to the point where we can be consistently profitable in whichever lane we go into, right? There's another thing that happened. I got to say this. There's another thing that happened when I was live last week, okay? I don't know if y'all were on last week or not, but when I was live, people said, oh yeah, I'm a holler, I'm patient, I can wait for my money, all of this stuff, right? They just throwing it in the chat, right? But when I was showing them the chart, and I'm on a higher time frame, right? So I think I did the week first, and then I went down to the day just to kind of get them an idea. Like, no, I did the month, my bad. So I did the month, I did the week, and then I did the day. And I dropped down to the 4 hour, and I was like, all right, so what do y'all see? What is the market telling you? Is it going up or is it going down? And then I was like, all right, so if I think at the time it was kind of turning around, right? And I said, as a trader, are you going to go against what the higher time frames are showing you, just on what you see right here? Are you going to go against what the higher time frames are showing you, which is sell, 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 sell? Or are you going to wait for the market to reposition and then rejoin that sale so you can get more money, right? Man, when I say majority of them jokers is on there like, I'm gone, I'm buying right now. That told me they want to trade, right? That is identity confusion. You cannot operate two strategies emotionally at the same time. So for me, what I tell people is, like, on Fridays, I'm looking at the charts specifically for me to invest. There are certain things that when I get on Friday, because it's Financial Friday for me, right? This is my opportunity to reset, prepare, for the upcoming week or to catch whatever I can in the market as an investor before the markets close, because the stock market closes on Friday, right? And so on Fridays, my mentality, if I have done my trading for the morning, in the afternoon, my mentality is I'm looking for my next buy opportunity as an investor. So the trading hat is taken off and the investing hat is put on only on Fridays. That is my day because I want to catch the 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 move before the market close. That's pretty much it. I see you, Diana. I see you. I think it's a little bit of a lag too, because it's coming through pretty late. So I keep that in mind, right? So yeah, so we can't operate in those two things, those two types of strategies, and then operate in our emotion at the same time. We can't do all of that together. Okay, we got to pick which one are we doing when we go to the chart for that day, for that time. So, like for me, if I'm a trader, I'm going to say, all right, this is the time frame that I normally trade. Boom. So when I'm going to look at the chart, I'm not going in there with the mentality of, oh, I'm going to buy this thing to hold in my portfolio. Absolutely not. My mind is on short term. I want to be in and out of the market today. That's day trading for me. I'm in and out of the market today. That's the goal. Investor is I'm holding for years. That's me, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the chart, okay? Now, instead of asking, is the market going up or down? I want you to start asking some different questions. As a matter of fact, let me write these down so that way I can remember to ask these questions, okay? So I want you, when you're looking at the chart, I want you to ask yourself, one, what is the trend? Okay, before I pull up the chart, I want you to think about this. And I'm going to ask the questions again, but I'm writing it down so that way I don't forget. So I want you to ask yourself, like, what is the trend? Okay. Let me see. What type of momentum is, well, that's the trend. So I don't want to say that. Okay. The second question is, what is my strategy before I enter? Okay. What is my strategy before I enter? What is my strategy before I enter? Okay. Now, I also want you to think about, like, look, if, let me write this down. I want you to think about, like, if price was to drop, 20% tomorrow, what's your plan? Or if price was to push up 20% tomorrow, what is your plan? So if price drops or rises, so if price drops or rises, oops, I'm trying to write it down, or rises. I should have wrote it down earlier, but yeah, oh well. Tomorrow, after what we see tonight, what is your plan? What are you doing? Okay. What are you doing? What is your plan? Okay. Now, when we do this, when I show you these charts, let me pull it up. I need y'all to be clear. As a matter of fact, hold on. I'll be able to see it. Y'all can type y'all comments in the chat. I'm gonna pull it up on my phone so that way I can see your comments. Okay. Excuse me. Uh-oh. Give me a second. I'm hurrying. Okay. Cool. So now I'll be able to see your comments. All right. So let me share. If I was your okay, so here we go. Let's go. So I'm going to remove this because I don't want to confuse anybody. I'm going to remove this for now. And then I'm going to go to, this is Bitfinex. Okay. So I'm going to go to a high time frame. So just like I did last week, we're going to look at, well, because I do crypto, right? So we're going to look at, let me refresh it. Let's see what's going on. Okay. So we're going to go to a high time frame. I'm going to start there first. Let me hide these things so that way not a distraction. Okay. I am struggling right now. Don't mind all this stuff on here. I wonder if I could take all this off. My goodness. This is which one? That's why it's Bitfinex. I'm like, it's so much stuff on here right now. I don't normally have all this on here. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay. So on the month time frame, this is exactly what I did last week. I asked everybody, I said on a month time frame, all right, each one of these candles represents 1 month of movement. Price is either going up or it's going down. Okay. Price is either increasing or decreasing. Green means that price is increasing. Red means that price is decreasing. Green means price is going up. Red means price is going down, right? Okay, cool. So what I showed them last week was that we had been in, as you can see, we had been in at the time it was 4 consecutive selling months. And I said, February right now, we are selling, but we have to wait until the month ends to see if it closes in the sale, right? So we see here, this is the month of March. This is where we just got the month we just entered into. But prior to this month, right now, we are buying this month, right? We have more people buying Bitcoin at the time than we've had in the past 5 months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So starting in October, the market closed in a sale, meaning it went all the way up here, but price closed down much lower than where it opened at, right? Same thing with November, price closed much lower than where it opened. December, same thing. January, same thing. February, same thing. So what we're seeing on the this month time frame, okay, right here it tells us this is a month. If I hover over it says 1 month, right? Each one of these candles again represents 1 month of price movement up and down. Okay. So looking at this, I want you to ask that question to yourself. What is the trend for the month? Type it in the chat for me. What is the trend for this month, for the month? The month time frame. Type it in the chat. If you can. Okay? I'm going to give y'all a second because I know it is a little bit of a lag. What is the trend right now on this chart that I'm showing you? The month time frame. Remember, if I hover over it, it says 1 month. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months of red candles. What trend is that telling us? That the market is going down, right? That has been the trend for the past 5 months as it pertains to Bitcoin because that's what we're on, right? Okay, cool. So if I know the month is saying it's been selling for the past 5 months, right now, this is the beginning of the month. It's buying a little bit. Okay, cool. Right. I see you, Diana. That's right. Okay. So now I'm going to drop down to a lower time frame. Okay. The 1 week. So what the 1 week tells us is that every one of these candles represents 1 week of price movement, either up, which is our green candles, or down, which is our red candles. Okay. So we're either going up, people are buying, price is increasing, or we're going down because people are selling. That means price is decreasing, right? So on this week, I'm going to reposition this a bit. Hopefully you can see it. I'm going to delete some of these lines off of here because I'm going to do it over anyway. Let me do this. Let me get this off of here. Okay, because I need that one on here. Okay, cool. So now you should be able to see it just fine. And then let me delete this one out too. So this out of the way. Okay. On the week, what is the trend on this particular chart? What is the trend on the week time frame? Are we buying? Are we selling? Is it upward momentum? Is it downward momentum? What is the trend? Is it an uptrend or is it a downtrend? Up meaning price is going up and there's more of these green candles. Downtrend means that it is red and there's more price is going down and there's more of these red candles. So which trend are we seeing on this chart? Right? Type it in the chat real quick if you can. If you're watching a replay, you can type it in the comments, okay? Uptrend or downtrend? Price is buying, price is selling, or the chart is buying or the chart is selling. Which one are we seeing? Okay? On the week, we are seeing a selling market again. So that means, I'm going to write this down. Month, selling. Week, selling. Okay? So I'm keeping track. The month is selling. The week is selling. See how price is up here, pushed down. It attempted to rebound. It didn't do it. Pushed on down some more. I see you still selling. Yep. Then it went sideways a bit. Attempted to come up. Couldn't keep going. So it pushed down some more. Right? And then this is how we know when the momentum is starting to slow down a bit, because these little things up here, right? These things are called either, you can say wicks, W-I-C-K-S, or shadows. Okay, whichever one works for you. I say wicks, but the Candlestick Trading Bible says shadows. All right, whichever one works for you. But these wicks, right, are very long. The body of the candle, which is this red body here, the body of the candle is not as large as this or as this. Oh my gosh, what happened to my thing? Yeah, it's not as large as this, right? You notice the body of the candles are getting smaller. Okay, they're getting smaller. So what that tells me is, hold up, I have smaller body candles. I have longer wicks happening on my candles. So that means to me, pay attention. The sell momentum is starting to slow down to me. This is on the week. We still have our sale regardless. Okay? The sale has been going on regardless since October. It's just pulled back a bit, which is possibly what could happen here. All right, cool. So now we're going to go down to the day. Now let me bring this in some. So now, this look a little different. This looks a little different. Now, what is the trend on the day time frame? Do we have an uptrend where price is going up? Do we have a downtrend where price is going down? Or is it doing something called consolidating where price is going from the left to the right? It's just going sideways, right? If I do this, hold up. If I do this, looks like the market is just, price is just staying in this one area. It's not necessarily going up. It's not necessarily going down. It's just going sideways. That's called consolidation, right? So on the day, now I'm going to put I'm taking my note, right? Consolidation, the day chart. Okay. So I had sale on the month, I had sale on the week, and now for the past few days, so since February 7th, the market has been moving pretty much sideways. Would you agree with this or disagree? Type agree or disagree in the chat. I can see y'all comments, okay? Type agree or disagree in the chat that it's moving sideways. It's consolidating on this particular time frame on the day. I know it's a bit of a lag, y'all, so I'm gonna give y'all a minute. Come here, are you ticklish? Yeah. Uh, 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 All right. Cool. Yes. It's consolidating. That's what I see. Okay. So I'm gonna delete this. All right. So I'm gonna move forward now. So now I know the month has been selling, week has been selling, but the day, hold up, consolidating. So what that's telling me, my antennas are now starting to go up because I'm like, market has to make a decision on which way it's gonna go. Is it gonna rejoin that sale? Or is it going to attempt to push back and regain some of those losses? Right? How far up is it going to go? All of this stuff, right? Okay, so let's run it. So I'm going to delete this off of here too because this has been filled. Okay, so now this is an area, this is a time frame where I personally, Leona, looks to see what market structure looks like. Meaning, is there an area where price has the potential to break the current movement that we've grown accustomed to go into a different direction, right? Or is it going to continue to go in the direction that we're seeing at the moment? So on this one, this is the 4-hour time frame. See how I'm hovering over it? It says 4 hours. Okay. So what this tells us that every single one of these candles, these little candles here, is 4 hours of price movement. So I'm looking at this right now. We just did this on the month, the week, and the day. What is the trend? Is there a trend? So is there an upward trend where price is moving up and there's a lot of buying? Or do we see a sell trend where price is pushing down and there's more selling going on? Or do we see price going sideways? It's staying in a certain area, right? What do we see on the 4-hour? Type it in the chat. Is it an uptrend? Is it a downtrend? Or is it sideways? Or you could type consolidation if you want to type consolidation. Which one do you see on this one? We're on the 4-hour. And then we're going to move on in a second. I'm going to give y'all a minute. 4-hour. Are you seeing an uptrend, downtrend, consolidation? Which one do you see? I'm giving y'all a second. All right, so let's run it. Okay. So this is showing me that price is bouncing in between certain areas. I'm going to show you something. Watch this. So if I was to change this to white, you can see price is bouncing, right? How do I do the thing? Oh, yeah, let's see if I could do it. Oh, it's not going to let me do it. How do I draw? Consolidation, yes. Okay, maybe I need to do this. Hold on. So look, the price goes up, comes down, comes back up, comes down, almost there, comes down, bam, goes lower than where it was. Look, I'm gonna show you. Hold on, I'm gonna do another line. So that means you see this right here. So this was the structure at the moment. Price came up here, got close, came up again, finally came all the way down, came up again. So it hit this area. This is now our, what we talked about last week, called resistance, right? Where price does not continue to push up, it has to come back down, right? So it came up here, these three areas immediately, came down, right? And then it broke through here. So this wasn't really strong because it only came down. Let me see, hold on. Yeah, it didn't even come all the way down. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this up. This is better because now, bam, bam. Okay, so it came up, down. Attempted to come up, broke through it a little bit, came back up again, down. Came back up, broke through it, came back up, didn't quite touch it, came back down to this 50% retracement. So this is where price had went in October, and then it's come down from October to now 50% in price. Came back up again, pushed back down here again. So it's here twice. Now, as a person who trades, you want to see, is price going to break out of this area? This is a big old area. This is a $7,000 gap. So now this, to me, would you say, okay, I could probably trade this, or you know what? It's not as consistent as I would like it to be. So I can identify a good price point for a price to go to. Just look at the pattern here. Price came up, came down, came up, it broke through there, came back up, though, came down, hit this area again, came up, didn't quite hit here. So if you would have got in the trade, if we go to a lower time frame, if you would have gotten in the trade last month thinking that price is going to come back up to 70K, you would have got stopped out. You would have lost your money, right? Then it bounced off the 50%, came up. Again, if you thinking it was going to come up here, you would have been out of luck, right? Price came back down to the 50%, didn't quite hit the 70 again. So now, guess what? What Leona's going to do is, this is our area now. This is our resistance now. 69K. Would you agree with that or disagree? Let me know in the chat. Would you agree that this is now our resistance? 69K. Agree or disagree? Just on the 4 hour. I haven't even gone into any lower time frames. Type it in the chat. Would you agree or disagree that this is now our resistance? I'm going to give y'all a second because I know it's a bit of a lag on here. Let's see. Warm it up, Chris. I'm about to. That's what's playing on here. I don't know if y'all can hear it or not. But this is playing. I haven't heard that song in so long. Oh, man. All right, cool. So now I see that I have a resistance here, but I'm not going to forget now. I also have one up here. Hold on. Where's it? I also have one up here. So this is telling me between 69 and 70, this area is a strong area of resistance. Okay. So even if Bitcoin pushes above here, this is my next one. This is my next level that Bitcoin would have to break. So what I'm going to do is make a note. This is my first line of level of resistance. Okay. I put notes in mine so that way I know what the heck is going on. Because I know me, I forget what's this white line for. So first line of, or first area of resistance. All right. And then this one on top of it is my second area of resistance. So now I know this is a zone, right, that has that resistance. Second area of resistance. Okay, that's just what Leona do. All right. So now the next thing is, well, how far down can price go? Well, we know that it's hit this 50% recently. Okay, since last month. All right, because this is back in. Oh, okay. So yeah, so since last month, right? Bitcoin has hit this 50% area. 1, 2. Let me make this a bit wider. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's hit this area 6 times. Okay. So if it does not break and close above these 2 areas of resistance, then the probability of Bitcoin coming back down and hitting this 50% is now a bit higher. Would you agree or disagree with that? Okay. So what this tells me as a trader, okay, what this tells me as a trader that, let me delete this. What this tells me as a trader is, let me put me a line here. Where is the, there you go. Jeez. What this tells me as a trader that I want to see price break and close above here, then I could consider buying. This is Leona. Or I want to see a strong sale occur, like some nice body sales, right? Nice red candles, nice body red candles, right? I want to see that so that way I can say, all right, now I can rejoin the sale, okay? At least to this 50%, because price has been standing here for a whole month, okay? For the month of February, price has been playing in between here, 63-ish, 70K-ish. Cool. So I'm gonna drop down to one more. All right. Nothing here is telling me I need to sell right now. I'm gonna make this a bit bigger. Nothing here is telling me I need to sell right now. Okay, not right now. So that means push pause, go on and do something else. All right. The second question I want you to ask yourself before we go back to and get off the chart for a second. The second thing I want you to ask yourself is, when you are getting on these charts, right? What is your strategy before you even enter a trade? What do you need to see on a chart to say, boom, I'm about to buy. Boom, I'm about to sell. What do you need to see? Right? So for me, one of the things that I use when it comes to trading Bitcoin, I trade a little bit different than I do when I trade gold versus Bitcoin, right? One of the things I use is a 50 EMA. Now that's an exponential moving average, and it needs to say 50, right? I use that because, number one, that's how I was taught. Number two, it has worked very well for me to be able to identify when I should be considering entering the market. This is one of the tools on top of my field, which is what I love. Okay. So for me, I have a strategy that works for trading Bitcoin. I have a strategy that works for trading gold. I use that strategy and I run with that. So I know there are certain things that I'm personally looking for before I get into the market. So that way, if it shows that, boom, I'm entering. I know how much I'm risking. I know when I'm getting out, all of that stuff, right? This is where I want to move from the chart back to the conversation. Okay? This is where I want to move back to the conversation, because this is why over 90% of the people who call themselves traders lose. Okay? Successful traders in general are boring. Why? Because they have entry rules, like I just talked about. They have exit rules, like I just talked about. They risk small percentages. And I'm talking about the people who are consistently profitable, y'all, not the ones who are super risky and that are content with blowing these accounts because they're looking for their big payout. No. The ones who want to be able to get paid from trading every single week, they want to do a withdrawal every single week from their brokerage account, right? They are risking small amounts of their entire account. And guess what? They also accept those losses more calmly than the person who is not successful as a trader. The person that's not successful as a trader, they beat themselves up, revenge trade, they're fussing, they're arguing with the market, telling the market what you ain't gonna do to me, all kind of stuff, right? Y'all, a trader without rules is just a gambler with Wi-Fi. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Because there's no strategy involved. There's no, okay, if this happens, this is what I'm doing. If this has happened, this is what I'm doing, right? If the market is consolidating and there's not enough room for profit for me to have a good risk to reward ratio, I'm not into the market. A real successful trader has a plan. They have contingency plans. They have plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, whatever it is, right? And it's going to be consistent. Anytime before I enter the market, I need to see these type of things, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, whatever. Every single time. That's how they get the same type of results over and over and over again, right? Okay. So honestly, traders that are successful, that are consistently profitable, you may look at them like, this is boring. Where's the excitement? Where's the you know, the pop and circumstance? Like, where's all the popping the champagne and, you know, spraying where's all that at? We don't do that. We don't do that. Okay? So here's what's required for you to not be part of that 90%. This is through trial and error. Y'all ready? Trial and error. Hopefully you're ready. I'm giving you a minute because I know that there's a bit of a lag on here. But here's the things that you need if you want to become a trader, and not just a trader. If you want to become a successful trader, these are some things you're going to need. Number one, you need to have a written trading plan. Period. And it needs to be in a place where you can see it before you even enter a trade. It is big. It is a reminder. Do these things before you put your money in the market, before you risk your money. Right? So number one, you need to have a written trading plan. All right. Number two, you need to define your risk per trade. Am I risking 1% of my account on each trade? Am I risking 2% of my account on each trade? What is that? And then not only that, now you need to put that into dollars for you. Percentage is cool. Don't get it twisted. But you need to put that in dollars or euros or yen or pounds, whatever your country's currency is. You need to put it there so that way you know, okay, I know I'm only risking 1% of my account, but that 1% is $10. That 1% is $100. That 1% is $1,000. That 1% is $10,000. Does that make sense? Or it's 1 euro. It's 10 euros. It's 100 euros. It's 1,000 euros, right? Know that whatever the percentage is equated to your country, your fiat currency. So that way, not only do you know what the percentage is, you also can feel comfortable with risking that in your currency. Okay? So now you have defined your risk per trade. Okay? As a person just starting out, I know my folks is going to be like, I already know the answer to that, Leona. I know you do. Okay? But I'm going to tell people, this is a suggestion. This is not a requirement. You do what you want to do with your money. Okay? Because I'm not a licensed trader. I'm not a licensed financial advisor yet. Okay? Those things are coming. Trust and believe. But until that happens, I can't tell you what to do. So my suggestion is, hey, if you're a beginner, you might want to stay closer to that 1 to 2%. Don't go above that. Okay, as a beginner, 1 to 2%, stay there. All right, until you see your account growing, you're more comfortable, you are emotionally stable when you're investing. I mean, when you're trading, right? Because that's another thing that is required to become a successful trader. You must have emotional discipline. This is where, and I'm speaking for myself. If anybody else watching the replay or live, if y'all want to chime in, how many times have you lost money in the market, especially when you first started out? How many times have you lost money in the market and you were just spazzing out like, oh my God. And then, and then you come and you like, I'm about to get my money back. So now you're angry. You're fussing at the market like the market did something to you when the market does what it does to everybody. The market don't know you by name, right? But you fussing at the market, telling the market, I'm about to go get my money back from you. Shoot, I don't know who you messing with. Now you lose more money, right? Then you get to the point where you have now built up this fear of losing. So what do? Now you don't trade because you're afraid to lose. Successful traders are not afraid to lose. We know that that's part of the game. You're going to lose. There's a young lady. I got to find it. When I find the video, I'm going to send it to y'all. I'm going to put it, as a matter of fact, I'm going to put it in the description of this video. But there's a young lady, she was part of this trading competition, and she became number 2. She's a futures trader. And one of the things she said was she had been trading. I think she said she's been trading for like 10 years or so. But anyway, the first, like, don't give me the line, y'all. So I don't want to say the wrong number, but it was a long time that she was trading and was not making money. She was constantly losing money, right? But what she did was she realized that losing is part of the whole game. And eventually I'm going to start, winning. I have to be okay with the loss. So I have to be comfortable. I have to get comfortable with the loss and use that as a lesson to help me to figure out, okay, what did I not see? What did I ignore? What did I do if I did anything wrong? Or this is just market conditions, right? Hey, look, who would have thought that a war would have broke out on this day? You know what I'm saying? Nothing in the news was saying, here comes a war today, right? So I'm in this trade. Everything is lining up. Money is coming in. Boom. You know what I'm saying? I'm almost at the point where now I could put my trailing stop on and I'll be in profit. So whatever happens after this, it doesn't matter because I made money, right? And then boom, missiles hit. Now the market goes in the opposite direction. God dang. Oh well, right? This is what happens. You cannot prepare for every single scenario. So you have to have emotional discipline as a trader. The other thing is you got to give yourself time to study the charts. And that needs to be every single day. That's another thing that young lady said. She studied charts all day, every day. But that's the reason why she's number 2. And she's a young chick too. But that's the reason why she's number 2. She studies charts all day, every day. She's a futures trader. She only trades, I think she said, the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. So that's the only 2 things she trades. So you got to give yourself that time to study the charts. Right? And again, one more time, I'm going to keep saying this because for whatever reason, we don't want to, own that or admit that or believe it. But we have to accept that losses are part of the game. You can't get put in a game and then expect to win every single day. That's not going to happen. That's unrealistic. You can't expect that your first, Your first, few trades are all going to be home runs. That's unrealistic. Will you win? That's possible. Will you lose? That's possible. All of these things is what's going to help you get closer to being part of that 5 to 10% of people who are very successful as traders. My question to you is, does that sound like something that you can actually commit to? I'm waiting. Does that sound like something that you can actually, you said to yourself, you know what, Leona, I can do that. I can create a trading plan. I can write it down and put it in a place where I'm going to constantly see it before I start trading. I can define my risk. I'm going to stay within that 1 to 2%. I'm not going above that, risking my broker account on a trade. I'm not going above 2% as a beginner. As a matter of fact, Leona, I'm going to stay at 1%. Right? I'm going to work on becoming more emotionally disciplined. I'm not going to get it all right in the beginning, but I'm not going to beat myself up because I know this is new. Right? I'm going to take time to study, Leona. Every single day, I'm looking at the charts. Even if it's 30 minutes, it don't matter. Every single day, Leona, I'm looking at the charts. And you know what? I know that losses are a part of the game. Can you do that? Are you prepared to commit to that? Let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching the replay. If you can commit to that, type the word commit. If you can commit to that, type the word commit. Right? Now, for those of you that say, yeah, I can do that, I can commit to that, good. The next thing is going to be for you to, find someone to teach you that has a strategy that is easy for you to understand. Now, for my people who are like, oh, but you know what? What about the investing folks? Because that's me too. Okay. What does long-term investing require? I'm gonna tell y'all something. Being a holler in this space as a crypto investor or any market, right? Being a holder as an investor, it is not lazy work. You don't just be like, oh, well, I'm just gonna put some money in here and then I'm done. I don't need to do anything else. Absolutely not. It requires conviction. It requires patience. It requires emotional stability for sure, especially when the markets are down, right? Or they're all over the place. They're chaotic. And you're like, what the heck is going on? All right. It does require that you are not the person that's sitting there checking the charts 24/7. Okay. So if you want to trade and invest, there's going to be a little balance. Okay. But guess what? It also requires you to do some research. Okay. You have to research. You cannot sit here and say that I'm going to be an investor. I'm going to make X amount of dollars, or euros or pounds or whatever. I'm going to be able to live off of my investments. You're not going to be able to do that if you're not a student of that market. So guess what? You have to do your research. You have to study. So that also requires you to set up study time. So that way you can study those index funds. You can study those ETFs. You can study those treasuries. You can study that those precious metals. You can study, those other commodities. You can study the cryptocurrency market. You can study the foreign exchange market. You can study futures. Whatever. You have to study. You got to be a student. You have to be an educated investor in order to be a successful investor. Now, question. When I showed y'all the chart and we got down to the 4 hour, who felt more stressed watching the short term? Like, that's not necessarily short term. The 4 hour isn't really as short, but who felt more stressed? Like, what the heck? Wait a minute. What just happened? You just showed me it was selling. What is this? Okay. Listen, that stress is nothing but data. I say this all the time. People who have been part of my community for a while, Prosperity Comps community, especially if you have traded with me, right? You already know one of my favorite sayings: collect data. We collect data. That's what we do. We're not worrying about how many wins or losses right now, especially as a beginner. Your goal is to collect data. Your goal is to identify where's the resistance, where's the support at a bare minimum. Start there. Where's the resistance? Where's price coming up and bouncing down? Where's the support? Where's price going down and bouncing up? Where is that? Is there an uptrend? Is there a downtrend? Right? Your focus is collecting data. Guess what? You do that with investing too. Collect data. Because as a student, you're studying the market, right? So you're collecting data. So that way you can make an informed decision on how you want to employ your money. So all that stress that you feel with these headlines, hearing about the war, inflation, gas has gone up already. Here in Louisiana, it's up, right? Groceries are still up. Everything else is still up, right? But all of that is data that we collect to help us to decide if we want that short-term gain or do we want that long-term gain? Which one do we want? Or if, hey, I want both, but I want to get better at the long-term first, and then I start going into the short-term. Okay, cool. Right? So let's talk about how we can overcome that trader failure thinking. Okay? And then we're going to wrap this up because I'm ready to get home to my family. All right. So, number one, I want you to make sure that you have a bit of like a pre-commitment, right? So remember we talked about having that written plan. Okay. So before any trade, I want you to write down, why am I entering? Why am I entering? Okay. I want you to write these down real quick. Before you enter any trade, I want you to enter. And this is the same, even with investing, y'all. You can use this too. Why am I buying or why am I entering? So why am I entering if you're trading or considering trading? If you're investing, why am I buying or why am I selling? Okay. Because you're supposed to be holding for the long term, right? So why am I buying? But if you're saying, oh, you know what, this company XYZ, well, you need to know why you're going to sell it. All right, that's number one. So you need to write down, why am I entering if you're going to trade? Let me stick with traders. Okay, I don't want to go back and forth. Number two, I want you to write down, okay, where will I exit? Okay, if my analysis is wrong. Hey, what's going on? I see you, Charity. Where will I exit? Okay, if I'm wrong. So let's say my analysis is wrong and the market is doing the opposite of what I anticipated doing. Where is my exit? Okay, I'm gonna pull up the chart here in a second to go over what we just talked about. Third thing, before you enter any trade, right, you need to ask yourself, how much am I risking? Am I comfortable with risking? $10? That's too much for me? Or that's just enough for me? Okay, cool. $100. Is that too much for me? Or am I cool with that? I'm not over here like, you know what I'm saying? About to have a heart attack, right? Okay, I'm cool with risking $100. Okay, cool. Is it 1,000? Am I cool with 1,000? Right? Why am I going to risk 1,000? Because I'm seeing that there's a possibility for me to make 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, right? How much am I risking? Here's the key though. You have to be able to answer each one of these questions very calm. If you cannot answer those questions calmly, this is not the time for you to enter. All right. If you feel like your pits are starting to sweat, because when you ask that third question, how much am I risking? When you started looking at, oh shoot, that's actually 1% of my account is $1,000. Am I ready to risk $1,000? Am I ready to risk $1,000? And you second guessing it, do not enter. I need you to back it up. Okay. Maybe you need to lower the risk. Okay, or maybe this is not the trade for you. So let's go. I'm gonna pull the chart up one more time, and then we're gonna finish up. I thought that this was gone out of my throat. I'm so sorry, y'all, but clearly it's like, no, I'm gonna hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna give it a second because sometimes it's been lagging lately. Okay, so now y'all should be able to see it. Okay, so here we go. So this is what we talked about so far. We identified our first area of resistance. We identified our second area of resistance. So all of this is where Bitcoin price has the potential to go and then push back down. Remember, resistance is price goes up and bounces back down. Support is price goes down and bounces back up. Cool? All right. So now, now that we know this, why would I enter for a, let's say, a sale? What would I need to see to tell me that, okay, cool, we got a good sale? All right. I'm going to drop down to one more time frame, y'all. I'm going to go down to the 15-minute, right? So for my people who are like, oh, man, I want to be in and out. This is for my folks that was on TikTok last week, like, yeah, I'm ready to buy. Yeah, I'm ready to sell. You need to go to lower time frames, because this is where you're going to be able to make money faster, all right? And you won't be in the market too long, okay? So 15-minute, I have my 50 EMA up here, right? Cool. So let's just say, all right, the month we have selling, the week we have selling, the day we had consolidating, and then the 4 hour, this is how we identify this first and second area of resistance, and this 50% is our support. Okay? So what I would need to see in order for me to sell, right? I would need for price to close below this 50 EMA, okay? Because for my people who don't know, I trade Bitcoin just a little bit different than I trade gold, right? So I'm big on the EMA with Bitcoin. So 50 EMA, I need price to close below here. But also what I'm going to do is I'm going to look to the left, because I want to see, is there an area where price has hit multiple times that it needs to break through that thing too, okay? So that's going to be support, right? So let me see. So I see right here. Hold up. I see right here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Look like it touched there. Then it was resistance here. That's 6, 7, 8 resistance. Then it turned into support again. Support again. So this is one of those areas where price would need to break below here, close below here, in order for me to even consider selling it. Okay? This is Leona. Why am I entering? If it closes below here, this is one of the things that Leona will need to see to say, sell Bitcoin, right? Another thing that I will need to see is, would the risk be worth it? So that third question I gave y'all, how much am I risking? Well, my goal is at a bare minimum, a risk to reward of 1 to 2, meaning I'm risking $100 to gain 2. I'm risking $100 to gain 3. I'm risking $100 to gain 4. I don't want 1 for 1, because that does not leave me any cushion to lose trades and still in the week in profit. Okay? The lower the risk to reward, the less trades I can afford to lose and still in the week in profit. So I need to see that there is a possibility, okay, not a guarantee, but a possibility for me to be able to get a risk reward of 1 to 2. If I don't see that, then guess what? I'm not going to enter the trade. I'm good. I trade gold too. So whatever. Let's move on to something else, right? You don't have to trade that thing just because it's in front of you. So looking over here, I see this. So this tells me this is one of those areas where price has the potential to go. So if it breaks below this 67K, 67,838 in this area, okay, it closes below here, then this is a potential profit area where price may come down and then bounce back up. And if the sell momentum is strong, rejoins the sell, okay, and continues to push down into a sell. It has the potential. Does that make sense to everybody? So we need to know why we're entering. Leona say for her, Bitcoin has to close below here. Okay. Then on top of it, my risk to reward is important to me. So do I see a potential for a risk to reward of 1 to 2? If I don't see that, then guess what? This is not it for me. So immediately looking at this, y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all now, I've been trading Bitcoin for years. And I can eyeball this to tell you this is not a 1 to 2. I already know because the fee to even get into a Bitcoin trade is too high. So there's no way this one right here, it wouldn't be worth it. So I would have to risk, okay, staying in the trade a little bit longer and hoping and praying that it now comes down. Here's another area. Let me change this to green. Hold on. Let me change this to green. And then I'm going to do this. Profit area 1. But the question is that 1 to 2 for me? No. So now that means I need to find another one, right? So price has the potential to come down, bounce back up maybe. I'm going to do this right here, and then I'm probably push down again. So right here, right here. Okay. Okay. Now let me bring it down some. I want to see. All right, this one look a little more promising. This one look a little more promising. Yep. Look, 1, these 3 here. These 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Well, my bad, 3, because that one didn't touch it. So that's 6, 7, right? All this, and then it was resistance. Resistance, resistance. So it went from resistance to support. Remember, resistance, price comes up, bounces down, comes up, bounces down. Support means price comes down, bounces up. Price comes down, bounce up. Down, bounce up. Make sense? Down, bounce up. So now that tells me, hey, we may have a repeat. It might bounce down and come back up. Okay? So now I'm going to say profit area 2. All right? Profit area 2. Now, I'm eyeballing this. I'm going to use this little fancy ruler here. So hypothetically, let's say Bitcoin closes down here. I'm looking at an area where it might, close at just a guesstimation. All right. I'm not, I don't have a crystal ball or nothing. So this is just a hypothetical. Let's say Bitcoin comes down, closes here at that 67K-ish, right? Okay. So that means that this is 892 points, right? But I would need my stop loss to be above the EMA. So that means, nope, I need this thing to be over, I need 2,000 points for it to at least be a 1 to 2. So is this 2,000? That's 2,000. So that means that for Leona, I'm going to be risking, let's say $100, right? I'm just throwing a number out there. I'll be risking $100 for the potential to get 200, only if Bitcoin comes to this area, close, and then boom, it has that sell momentum, and it comes down to this profit area 2, which is 65K ish. Okay. Now, like I said, I showed y'all. Let's go back to a higher time frame real quick, and then we're gonna finish this up. Okay. I showed you hold up. I showed you that before this, let me delete it. I'll put it back on there later. But I showed you that. Oh, let me get this off of here too. Hold up. All right, cool. Price has been bouncing in between these areas. Okay. Let me move this out the way so don't distract you. So we saw this first. Up here first. Then it started hitting the 50% again. Okay. We also saw that price was going up here. This is why we had that second area of resistance, right? Price was going up here. And then eventually it switched from just here, these two, to down in here. So it went from here to price coming up here, come down. Come up here, come back down. Come up here, come back down. That's what resistance, right? It comes up and it pushes down. Comes up, pushes down. Okay? That's it. That's all. So the reason I wanted to show that again is because we need to know what we're doing. Before we put money into any market, we need to identify why. Why do I want to buy Bitcoin? Why do I want to sell Bitcoin as a trader? Why do I want to buy gold? Why do I want to sell gold? Why do I want to buy the S&P 500? Why do I want to sell the S&P 500? We need to know why. We need to know where our exit point is. I showed y'all that. Hey, listen, it needs to be above the 50 EMA. Okay? So that would be 1,000 points that I will be having to, risk. Okay? And that would be equivalent to however many dollars, right? That could be $100, that could be $1,000, that could be $10,000, whatever, depending on what you're risking, right? I have to be comfortable with that risk before I even talk about, I want to make this amount of money. Okay? So the other thing, in order for us to overcome that failure thinking as traders, right? The other thing is we should be able to sleep at night. So we need to keep our position sizes small. That's why I said risking for beginners, 1 to 2% is max. I know there are some people out there to be like, you should be okay with 3%. Let me tell you something. Don't fall into that trap. Don't fall into that trap. Because the moment that you start going higher, that greed is going to start kicking in. And then when you lose a trade, you're going to get angry. Then you're going to lose some more. Then you're going to start falling back. And then say, oh, look, you know what? I don't want to trade. Let me just stop trading, period. Then you start to get rusty. And now you're sitting here like, oh, shoot. You know what I'm saying? No, you should be able to sleep at night. Okay, so if you can't sleep, when you put that trade in, your position, the amount you put into the market is too much. It's too rich for your blood. You need to back up. Make a note of that for sure. In your trading journal, make a note of that and say, you know what? Okay, I next time I'm not risking that much. I had a horrible night's sleep. Terry say, why didn't I learn my lesson? I'm telling you, it takes time, right? It takes time. But here's the thing. The more you do this stuff, the more you make note of what you're doing, the good, the bad, the indifferent, right? The more you make note of it, you study these notes because you're collecting what? Data. The more you study this stuff, the better you get. You don't study it, you don't get better. You keep losing. You study it, you slowly get better. You start winning a bit more, even if the positions are small. So what? I would rather you win $5 every single time you trade, right? And you lose 2, here and there, but you don't lose that many. But you winning 5. I'd rather you do that, and then you get the 10. Then you get the 15. Then you get the 20. But you still only losing $5. Now you at 20. Now you at 50. Now you only losing 10. See what I'm saying? Now you at 100. Now you only losing, $15, $20. You see what I'm saying? I would rather you consistently do that than sit here and be like, I got to go big or go home. Yeah, you're going to go home, but you ain't going to sleep good. Okay? You don't want that. All right? So Keep your position size small so that way you can sleep good at night. All right. You should be sleeping like a baby. Well, not like a baby. You should be sleeping comfortably. All right. You should be sleeping comfortably when you are trading and putting those trades in. Same thing as an investor. You should be sleeping comfortably when you're investing. Okay. Hopefully everybody got that. All right. Next. Okay. We need to have I don't know if I want to say this. Okay. When you feel the urgency to just hurry up and jump into the trade, I would say take a step back. Because if you're overly excited, if you I just say if you're overly excited about something, now could you win? Yes, you could. But there will be times where that overexcitement, right? That super excited mentality and feeling, it may trigger you to overlook something. So I would say just push pause. Okay. Give it a few. All right. If you're a scalper, I know you can't give it long, okay? But if you're a day trader like myself, you can give it a little bit of time, okay? But give it a minute. And then if you step away and then come back and you still feel like, okay, yeah, this is a high probability setup. This is one of those setups where I'm like, all right, yeah. I'm not like super hyped now, but I'm like, yeah, it looked the same to me. I could take it. Cool. All right. So if it's still a good idea after you taking that moment and you step back, you stepped away, and you come back and look, if it's still a good idea, then it's probably a structured setup. It's probably a high probability setup. Run the play. Okay. But if that setup is not there when you come back and you're like, hold up, wait a minute. Whoa. What's going on? And guess what? You were about to trade with emotion. You were more than likely going to lose your money. Okay. So we need to establish kind of like a little delay rule. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you're a scalper, like y'all people that scalp, like what would you say? What would be a good amount of time to step back and then come back to the chart to see if you still see what you saw? Tell me in the chat if I have any scalpers in here. I'm gonna tell you guys, as a day trader, listen, I trade gold, I trade on a 1 hour. Bitcoin, I traded on a 15-minute, right? So if within that 15 minutes, when I looked at the setup, right, if within that 15 minutes, the setup still looks solid, then cool, I'm going to take the trade. But if something has just drastically changed, when I come back and look, and if that 15 minutes is not up, and I come back and look, and it looks totally different, yeah, Leon, that wasn't the setup for you. Okay? Don't take the trade. All right? So give yourself like a little delay rule, okay? According to how you trade. All right. When I trade gold, I have a whole hour. Each candle is an hour. So I have a whole hour to decide if I want to take the trade or not. Now, am I going to take a whole hour? No. You know, I probably do like I do with the Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? I come back in a few minutes and look. If it still look the same, if I still feel the same, like, yeah, this is a high probability setup, then I'm running it. Okay? That's it. That's all. So what I want you to do, okay, and this is, I don't know if I have anybody here from TikTok that was on last week, but what I want y'all to do is just stop asking yourself, like, man, how can I make money fast? Okay? Start asking yourself, you know what kind of investor am I building myself into? Right? Am I going to be the one that wants to be consistent? I have steady growth, right? Or do I want that sporadic? Like 1 month, I'm up dramatically. The next month or the next few months, I'm down in the dumps. Right? Which one do you want? Say, what platform do you, hold on, what does that say? What platform do you trade crypto on? I am testing out Tradiso right now. Tradiso. I also was told about Blowfin. But that's another one too that is not regulated in the US. So I tell everybody, I hate to say it, but just trading for those of us that do not have millions of dollars to put into a market. I'm speaking to us, okay? Those of us that do not have millions of dollars to put into a market, more than likely we may end up trading when it comes to like not futures, right? When it comes to trading cryptocurrency, you're probably going to end up trading in a unregulated broker. Okay, you don't have to, but that's more than likely the lane because these platforms that are U.S. regulated, they are more so for the like the accredited investors, right? The people who have, if you're single, you have 250K annual income, or if you're married, you have 300K annual income, or you have $1 million in investments or assets. My bad. Okay, that's what these larger the U.S. regulated platforms. This is what they're looking for. Okay. I hate to say it like that, but that's just what I've been noticing. So if you don't have millions, in assets, if you are not earning as a single person over 250K a year, you're probably going to go to an unregulated broker. And I would say definitely be careful because there are a lot of them out here. That's why I just said I'm testing out Tradiso. I put small amounts into these broker accounts because or these trading platforms because these past almost 2 years, I don't know what's been going on with forex and prop firms and all this stuff. It's been a nightmare, and it's been very frustrating for me. So I'm keeping it real. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, oh, it's all good. It ain't for me. It ain't for me. It's been horrible finding a brokerage that is not out here snatching your money and putting you into trades that you weren't in and stuff. So yeah, I would definitely say be careful, okay? Especially trading crypto with these unregulated brokers here in the US. Be careful, okay? Start small, for real. Put money in there that you're not gonna miss, even if it's $50. I believe I think Tradiso you could put 50. I'm not sure, but yeah, to put the smallest amount there allow you to put as long as you're comfortable with that amount. All right. And definitely watch them because the last few that I've had, they've been putting me into trades in the opposite direction of what I'm in because I was winning. And I'm like, this is some bull. And I just closed the trades out of there and I'm like, let me just take my money out. Like this is ridiculous. So yeah, be careful out there. All right, so homework, and then I'm out. Homework for today, for this week. All right. I want you to write down, are you really a trader or are you more so an investor? Which one are you more of? Which one are you more of? Yeah, they've been tripping. And trust me, y'all, I'll let y'all know like which ones I found that are very good or that are not, doing that shady business or whatever. But I can't tell you, yeah, you should use that one. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you that. I could say, hey, look into these ones because I've heard of Blowfin, because there's a gentleman on TikTok that I follow, Blockchain Bullhorn. He trades using that broker. Okay. I don't know if that's a live trading account or not because you can't see it when he's on live, but at the end of the day, that's the one he talks about. So yeah. But that's the one I was told about, Blowfin. There's another one that oh my gosh, what's her name? Bullish Babe on TikTok. She uses a different one. I believe it starts with a B2. I can't remember it for right now, but she goes live Monday to Friday at 8:15 Central Standard Time, 9:15 Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So what are my top 5 cryptocurrencies I think the government will use when the dust settles? I can't tell you that because I don't know. I'm not about to sit here and act like I'm some crypto genius or whatever. I'm not, what I will tell you is what Leona does is I stick with the top. That's it. I'm a large cap crypto, blue chip crypto buyer. That's what I do. I'm Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and then I have Cardano, HBAR, but I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh yeah, this is what they're gonna. No, I don't know, because these jokers been let me tell y'all, they've been changing the rules on us, and I'm pretty sure y'all know that. They've been changing the rules on us. It's like as soon as you feel like you got stuff figured out, nah, let's do this. All right. It's just what it is. So I say stick to the things that work for you, have been working for you. Invest in increments that you can afford to part with. Be consistent with those investments. Make sure that you reach out to a financial advisor, especially one if you're more committed to cryptocurrency than other asset classes. Just make sure that you communicate with a licensed financial professional, okay, that is licensed in securities, so that way they can talk to you about certain cryptocurrencies that is being talked about in different spaces and whatnot. They'll be able to give you a better idea of that, as well. But yeah, I'm me, Leona. Leona sticks to the top. That's it. Large cap, blue chip, cryptocurrencies. That's where I'm at. That's where I reside. I'm not looking for the next big thing. I'm not looking for meme coins. That's not my lane. That's not what I do. Shout out to the people who do, but that's not for Leona. Not here to knock anybody. Say crypto Archie uses Blowfin too. That's what's up. Awesome. Okay. So yeah. So are you truly a trader, or are you more so an investor? Which one are you more of? Identify that. This is part of your homework. If you say, hey, look, I'm a trader, Leona, I really enjoy trading much more. I love looking at the charts. I love studying the charts. I'm that person. I want the charts to tell me what's going on without looking at the news. Like, boom, I'm in there. I'm locked in, okay? If you are that person, then I want you to write down your rules before your next trade. So if you trade at night, you should have your rules written down. I would say get one of those. I believe I have it at home, but I have the big old index cards, right? And on that big index card, I have my rules. Step 1, before I enter a trade. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Like, that's what I do. So that way I know before I attempt to trade anything, boom, I'm doing these steps. Okay. That's how I got to the point where I was able to say, all right, 75%, 80%, week after week, win rate, right? That's why, because it was a system. Every single week, do the same thing. Every single trade, do the same thing, right? It said, does it make sense to establish rules now if you don't trade? Absolutely. And the reason why I say that, even if you don't trade, it's kind of similar to before you invest. What do you look for in a company if you're investing in the stock market? What do you look for to say, I want to put some money into this company? I want to put some money into this index fund. What do you look for before you invest in a cryptocurrency? Whether there's a large cap, mid cap, small cap coin, whether it's meme coin, whatever. What do you look for to tell you this is the perfect time for me to buy? Right? So absolutely, you should establish your rules, even if you're not trading right now, because you can do the same thing when it comes to your investing. Okay. Next thing is homework. If you are more so an investor, you interested in trading, but you're like, nah, I want to master investing first. Okay. Then I want you to define your long-term thesis in 3 sentences. Like, what is it that I'm doing? What do I see? Why am I investing in this particular asset class? Right? What is my end goal with investing in this particular asset class or investing period? Right? Am I patient? Am I impatient? Am I emotionally driven? Or am I more logic and focused and research driven? What is it? Data collecting. What is it? 3 sentences. Okay? 3 sentences. And then for everybody, I want you to track your emotional state the next time you look at a chart. Whether you're investing, trading, don't matter. I want you to track it. This means I want you to create a journal. So anytime you're considering investing in something, I need you to write down how you're feeling before you go into that brokerage account and press buy. Before you trade and you press buy or sell, I want you to write down how you're feeling in that journal, at least for the next 7 days, y'all. Write down how you're feeling when you're looking at that chart and you're like, ooh, I'm about to sell, right? How are you feeling? Write it down. Okay? Write it down. Hopefully this helps. All right. So look, y'all. At the end of the day, the market does not reward that excitement. Okay. It rewards consistency. Period. You don't lose in crypto because of volatility. You lose because of undisciplined decisions during said volatility. Right now, the markets are all over the place. I just showed y'all Bitcoin. Month, week selling. Day, 4-hour consolidation. Right? It was ranging in between two areas at first. Then it switched up in the next half of the month of February. And then it started ranging in between two other areas. Okay? You have to practice discipline. You have to be patient. Whether you're an investor or a trader, doesn't matter. Okay? So last live, y'all saw the charts. If you were on TikTok with me, this live, you saw the charts again. Okay? So I want you to think about where you were last Tuesday, when we were doing this. How were you feeling? If you were overly excited or if you were a bit more level-headed, right? Okay? If you were overly excited, but this time around, you were more level-headed, that's growth. That's growth. That's it. That's all. That's what we want to see. Okay? So hopefully this helped you. If it did, y'all make sure that you share this out. Make sure that you share this out with people, okay, that you know are interested in investing, trading, all of those things, okay? Say, okay, I have growth then. That's right. I love it. Make sure that you share this out with the people that you know are interested in investing in crypto space or just investing in general, and also the people who are interested in trading, because we need to know that there are more people out here losing money than winning, but you don't have to be the people. You don't have to be part of that percentage that's losing. Okay. You just need to take your time. All right. And I want to see you win. So if you have enjoyed this and you haven't given a thumbs up to this live yet, do so right now. Also subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Hit the notification bell if you have not done that yet. And I will be back on Thursday. That is March 5th. Okay, at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. We're going to continue with our crypto conversation. I won't be doing the trading part, but we'll be back talking more things about cryptocurrency and investing in general. And if you are that person that's like, Leona, I want to start investing in the cryptocurrency market, I just need a little bit of help. I need a better understanding of like how to get from point A to point B. There is going to be in the description of this video a link for the crypto starter kit. Okay, I forgot to put it in there, but I put it in there, as well as that video link to the young lady who became the number 2 trader. Okay, she dropped a lot of gems in there, y'all. Dropped way more than what I did tonight. So trust me, you want to listen to that because she's very, very smart and a very disciplined trader, from what I gathered. So yeah, but that's it. I hope y'all have a really great night. And preferably, I see y'all on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. We'll be back talking more things cryptocurrency. And that's it. That's all. So y'all have a good night. And I'll see y'all then. Bye, y'all.